Welcome to 100 Yards of Football this afternoon. It's our NFL draft specials. We're going to highlight the cornerback out of the University of Auburn, Mr. Roger McCreary. So if you like the video this evening, please come in and share it. I'm your host, Vincent Turner. And joining me throughout this draft season, a great time for football because we got the national championship game coming up on Monday night between Georgia and Alabama. We got the NFL playoffs that's right around the corner. This gentleman should know all about some situations. He started a tradition at Florida State University in 1979. And people, let me tell you something. Florida State, all the great success they've had over the last years in the 90s and the 2000s. Please, this gentleman right here got it started with that 1979 team that went to the Orange Bowl and put Florida State on the map. Then, as I always say, when you watch the National Football League on Sunday and you watch all those players, you tell me which player has had a 12-year career. I can tell you it's few and many. And I'm blessed to have my man, Mr. Bobby Butler, 12-time NFL vet, first-round draft choice of the Atlanta Falcons in what he considered the greatest NFL draft ever in Florida State royalty, Mr. Bobby Butler. How you doing, sir?
Hey, Vince, I'm doing great, man. How you doing today?
Hey, man, I'm doing real well. A little tired this evening, but I'm ready to talk some football. You know how it is, my brother.
Man, this bring the energy right here. This is a wake-up call right here.
Yes, sir. We're getting it started early because we usually don't start the prospects until after the Super Bowl.
Right.
And now we're jumping head forward, and we're going to hopefully, by the time the Super Bowl is over in February, we'll have at least 120 videos up. Right. All these great young men that's going to be playing in the National Football League. But you played the cornerback position at a high level. Tell us about Roger McCreary, War Eagle, the University of Auburn.
Hey, man, this guy's he's a great corner. I love. Let me tell you what I love about him more than anything, Vincent. I love his maturation process. Right? He wasn't highly recruited out of high school. He was just a 3-star. Looked like he was getting ready to go to Alabama State. And then Auburn kind of peaked his coattail. And next thing you know, he went to Auburn. And every year, this young man has grown in his game. See, I like that about him. Some of the characteristics I love about him, he's a leader on and off the field. Coaches talk about him in the locker room, off the field. When you got a guy like that, that is a special young man. Right now, he's ranked in the top 20 of all the NFL prospects coming out. And, a lot of people, we know he's going in the first round, right? He's going in the first round. But I really believe, Vincent, with what he did this season, that his draft stock is going to even be higher. I see him in the top 12 in this draft. And I'm going to tell you why. He's proven. See, one thing when you play in the SEC, especially in the last 6-7 years, you played against the best receivers in the country. You play against all of them. The young man who plays for the Dolphins, Mr. Waller. The young man who played for the Denver Broncos, Mr. Judy. He played against them. Devontae, all them guys with the Eagles. He played against them all. This year, he had a great game. Now, people say, well, why did Auburn have so much success against Alabama this year? Two things. And I talk about this all the time. They had heat in the kitchen, and they had a corner like Roger who can shut it down. He played the best game I've seen anybody who played Michi the whole year from Alabama. He shut him down. Had some great plays in the game, right? Now, he gave up a 2-point conversion at the end of the game. But, hey, guess what, guys? When you play cornerback, sometimes they're going to get you. But I'm going to say if they threw at him 10 times, he won 7. I'll take that every day, Vincent, from an NFL player because he's playing against NFL players, in his conference. This guy is athletic. This guy has the speed. He's going to run on his pro day or at the combine. He's going to run anywhere between a mid 4.3 to a mid 4.4. So he's got the speed. He's 6 feet, 195 pounds. I say he's got the perfect size to be an NFL corner. And one of the things I liked about him this past year, he talked about playing defense a little different. He played more off man this year. And he learned how to play with his eyes. See, he's going to need that to carry over to the NFL. Listen, guys, the more things you can see a kid do in college is going to have him prepared to play on Sundays. He was used to playing bump and run man-to-man, get in your face. You got to have that in the NFL. But you also got to be able to back off and be able to weave and cover these receivers and break on the ball and challenge them that way as well. Because in the NFL, you can't play one thing all the time and get away with it. Because guess what they do? They game playing you just like you game playing them. I like this guy. You know, he's got great feet. One of the things I used to always look for when I played the Falcons, every time they drafted a cornerback high, you know, a first rounder, a second rounder come into the Falcons, the first thing I would look at, Vincent, when we're doing footwork drills early in practice, I watch his footwork. And I can tell you right then if he's going to make it or not based on his feet. This young man has impeccable feet. He's physical. Listen, this guy don't have a weakness. He don't have a weakness in his game. I like him. He's such a leader. His IQ is off the charts. I mean, you watch him when he play off. You watch how he uses his eyes. You watch how he attacked the ball at the point of contact. You know, one thing about being a DB, and he really gonna know this more so on the next level, is that, you know, you got a lot of 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" guys out wide you covering. And now athleticism has got to take over. Because they throw that ball up and high, you got to be able to run with them, you got to be able to jump and attack the ball at the highest point. This young man can do all of that. I love him. But here's what I love more about him than anything, Vincent. He has a story. He was raised by a mother who had him in high school. She was a great athlete. His mother played youth football, played basketball, played softball. She ran track. When he was a baby, she would take him to the park, Vincent, yes, put him in the environment. And that young man grew up watching sports. He was a 3-sport guy in high school. Great running back on the football team. He was a great basketball player. Baseball, he can do it all. See, and that right there is what projects more than anything when you got a guy who's athletic and can do more than one thing, right? And he's got a why. Why? He want to take care of his family. And so I'm excited for this young man, Vincent. And like I say, go back and look at the game he played against Alabama. You'll see at the end, he gave us a 2-point conversion on an in and out move, but that's okay. Watch how he played Michi that whole game. That's why the score was 10-3 going into overtime, right before Alabama tied the game up 10-10. So listen, Roger McCreary, hey, listen, man, go do your thing, keep growing, you know. And here's the thing I like too, Vincent, because I can tell you about my own experience. When I played in the National Football League, I played for 5 different head coaches. And it seemed like every other year we were changing our defensive scheme. I didn't like that. But I got better, Vincent, because I was exposed to different techniques and different fundamentals by different coaches. And he's got that at Auburn. And man, listen, I think the sky's the limit for him. He might end up being, you know, an all-pro cornerback this year. He's first team all SEC. If you check that box, you're doing something, Vincent. That's like making the Pro Bowl. First team all SEC, first team All-American ESPN, first team All-American Associated Press. I rest my case. Top 10 draft choice, Roger McCreary.
Well, I got to follow you on this, Mr. Butler.
Mm-hmm.
I know about Mr. McCreary in his sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
When they went against that 2019 LSU team. And he was a reserve, but he played a little slot.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, when you look at the National Football League, what are them men from LSU are doing? Now, you got to give me some credit because I did say Jamar Chase was the best receiver coming into the draft.
You said that.
And I saw that young man hold his own against Terrence Marshall, Justin Jefferson, and Jamar Chase as a true sophomore.
Yes, sir.
But what I like about him, Mr. Butler's production while he was there 4 years at Auburn, 135 career tackles. To me, that seems like he's not scared to tackle. 10 tackles for loss, 6 interceptions, but the key point, 30 passes defense.
There it is right there.
Ball skills. Then when I look at, and I go back in my lifetime, of course, I didn't play the game at all like you, but I saw some players when I was in high school. Keith Simpson, who went with the Seattle Seahawks. He's got a little Keith Simpson in him. Eric Harris, who played with the Kansas City Chiefs, with your man, Carlos Carson.
That's right.
Then a guy who I saw play out of my neighborhood, who I grew up with in the first grade, Mr. Carson Peoples, University of Tennessee. Then Mark Harper, who played in Cleveland as a nickelback with Hanford Dixon.
That's right.
And Frank Minifield. See, all them was in 901. This young man got some of that 901 in him.
Yes, sir.
Then you look at War Eagle, who War Eagle got the tradition. Carlos Rogers, Chris Selling, David King, Kevin Porter, Eric Ramsey, Curry Barlow, Roger Hood, David Irons, and a young man that balled out last year in the Super Bowl, Mr. Carson Davis.
That's right.
So I think the next great one, War Eagle, is coming to the National Football League.
I think you're right.
But your story is so great, man, what you said about his mother. But see, it's something in that water down there, as you say, that Mobile. Robert Brazil.
Yes, sir.
DeMarcus Cousins.
You're preaching good now.
Damari Craig.
Yes, sir.
Scott Hunter. AJ McCarron. Satchel Paige.
Yes, sir.
Billy Williams, who played with the Chicago Cubs.
Right.
Willie Anderson, Auburn, who's right now a Hall of Fame finalist.
That's right.
And the great Hank Aaron. And the great Willie McCovey.
That's right.
There's some in the water in Mobile. And then I'm going to take you back when I was at Arkansas. Players I saw play close up. Danny Walters. He got a little bit in him that I saw play at Arkansas. He got a little Derek and Mike Hatchett. You should remember that played in Texas.
Yes, sir.
And he got some Russell Carter that played at SMU.
SMU, that's right.
I love the young man.
Yes, sir.
Final words about Roger McCreary, cornerback, University of Auburn, War Eagle.
Has the tools, Vincent, to be an all-pro on the next level. I promise you one thing. You heard this here first. Bar any injuries on the next level, he will be an all-pro NFL cornerback on Sundays.
You got to think about Auburn. You think about Charles Barkley. You think about Frank Thomas. You think about Bo Jackson, 3 of the greatest athletes who ever came through that school. Quietly, I think that young man got a real good chance of being in that group. And I think he's got a good chance of being the best defensive back that came out of the University of Auburn. So when I thought about him today, man, I was thinking about what do Roger McCreary really come to my mindset? Well, it was a song back in 1984 called Radioactive by Royal Clash. Let's jam. Let's jam, Radioactive. When your body has that feeling, he going to be having that body moving at the next level, my brother.
No doubt.
And the guy behind that song is Daryl Cash. He's from the 901, Memphis, Tennessee. If you like the video today, please come in and share it. We talked about this great football player, Roger McCreary, out of the University of Auburn. We'd like to give special thanks to our producer, Logan Landers, for making it happen. And as always, I'm very blessed with royalty in the house. See, one thing, when you got all these other people talking about the draft, you got all these writers. Nah, man, I'm blessed. I got a guy that was right there in the middle of the war. A George Patton of the NFL. He can tell you what the guys do because he played it at what we call here on 100 Yards of Football, a high level. So if you like the video today, please come in and share it. I'm Vincent Turner, joined by Florida State greatest, finest, and Atlanta Falcon royalty, Mr. Bobby Butler. Catch us next week as we're going to be breaking down another great cornerback. here on 100 Yards of Football.